Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's roundup of news, current events, and just other random stuff that I dove into live on Twitch. Topics include the Buffalo Soldiers and why people are mad at Beyoncé. Zohran Mamdani beats sex pest Andrew Cuomo in the NYC Dem primary, and to no one's surprise, we are at post 9/11 levels of racism. I attended an anti-war protest in downtown Los Angeles. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez got married in a very expensive wedding in Venice, and the star-studded guest list includes Oprah, the Kardashians, also Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Just remember, it's one big club and you and I ain't in it. I also give a spoiler-free review of 28 Years Later, the newest film from Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. And I'll give you one hint. There's a big thing in it. I won't say what it is, but it's big. For this kind of content and more, make sure to check out my live streams. I am live every night at 6 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/Caroline Kwan. Why are people mad at Beyonce? Okay, people are mad at Beyonce because Beyonce stepped out wearing this shirt. Wearing this Buffalo Soldiers shirt. And on the back of the shirt was a very long explainer of the Buffalo Soldiers, starting with, blacks have played a far greater role in American military history than most people could ever imagine. Perhaps no other unit personifies both the remarkable achievements and significant obstacles that were overcome than the Buffalo Soldiers. Okay, so it gets into the role that they played following the Civil War, the asset that they were to the United States Army. Okay, and let me skip down paragraph number 5 that specifically has enraged people. Their antagonists, so they're being the Buffalo Soldiers, their antagonists were the enemies of peace, order, and settlement. Warring Indians, bandits, cattle thieves, murderous gunmen, bootleggers, trespassers, and Mexican revolutionaries. All these they met many times and with success, regardless of extremes of climate and terrain that ranged from the broken, rugged, and torrid Big Bend of Texas to the rolling plains, badlands, and sub-freezing temperatures of South Dakota. Many a frontier official owed his life and his job to the support given him by these black men in blue, and many more farmers and ranchers slept soundly in their beds because a thin line of black troopers guarded them from harm. So, namely, calling Native American tribes, people who are indigenous to this country, Mexican revolutionaries, antagonists, is what has gotten a lot of people upset. So let me talk about the Buffalo Soldiers, because the Buffalo Soldiers have a complex legacy. The Buffalo Soldiers were highly esteemed, especially within the black community. I would say the general American public probably does not know much about the Buffalo Soldiers, but because of the role that they played in history, they are especially esteemed within the black community because they fought on the battlefield, because they are seen as having overcome the chains of slavery, because they are a part of the fabric of the United States of America, in that they played a role in westward expansion, in that they played a role in the Spanish-American War. To talk about the black soldiers who comprised the army regiments that then came to be known as the Buffalo Soldiers, you have to reckon with these black soldiers being both oppressed and also the oppressor. And of course, the main oppressor being that of white America, the European white supremacy that led to the extermination of indigenous population on these lands. It's a complicated legacy where there has to be reconciliation with regard to the Native American community, because the Buffalo Soldiers, even though they played a very important role in World War I, also in World War II, they also played a prominent role in the westward expansion, which resulted in the continued displacement and genocide of natives in this country. On June 22nd, a Beyoncé fan account, Poison Honeybee, posted a now deleted tweet with photos of a shirt that Beyoncé wore on stage. The tweet cited the Buffalo Soldiers, an all-black military regiment founded in the 19th century. Folks were quick to point out some troubling language referencing Native Americans in the print on the shirt that details the history and significance of the Buffalo Soldiers. Beyoncé wore the shirt on her Juneteenth show in Paris, as documented heavily on her official website, where the images posted on X backs are from. It's not clear where the shirt is from or if it's an original creation from Beyonce herself. A lot of the tweets and other statements that are upset with Beyonce are actually coming from Beyonce fans, where usually you will see like there is a division when it comes to criticism of Beyonce, and of course like her fans, you know, her biggest stans are going to be endlessly defending her no matter what. This seems to kind of crossed a line that even some of her biggest supporters are not defending her on this. B is one of my favorite all-time artists. I'm so upset. Why is she glorifying the genocide of Indigenous Americans like the Buffalo Soldiers were used to ethnically cleanse Indigenous people from Turtle Island? Girl, why I wake up and see Beyonce calling Native Americans defending their home enemies of peace? The Buffalo Soldiers were black soldiers that were given false promises, and a good portion of them were mostly once owned slaves manipulated into doing dirty work for white men. This is a nuanced part of history. It makes me sad Beyonce would glorify such a difficult and terrible thing. Commenters and even diehard fans were quick to call out Beyonce, suggesting the remarks were insensitive, with some in disbelief that the star greenlit using a very nuanced part of history for her tour outfit. Many wondered why she would not use any of the other black military regiments that served in the Civil War or World War II, but chose the regiment with a complicated history that was formed to uphold American colonialism in the West. While many were shocked by the shirt, some critics were not surprised. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter era has been heavily criticized for its use of the American flag and patriotic imagery. And I have to say too, and I talk about this on the podcast, I went to Cowboy Carter and I had a good time. I think Beyonce is an amazing performer, but my one main critique was how all of the American flag imagery, you know, Beyonce wearing an American flag dress as she was singing the national anthem, it felt like now is especially not the moment. Like, read the room. And it did not feel like Beyonce was reclaiming patriotism as defenders, and as she has claimed this tour is all about. The merchandise and the shirt are not currently on the singer's official website. Beyonce's tour returns stateside this weekend with 2 shows in her hometown of Houston. Not trying to derail things, but have you covered who her husband is currently working with? It all makes sense. Wait. Jay-Z and Jeffrey Yass? This guy's last name is Yass? Ain't no way. Folks, please announce that the only modern day endorsement that matters, a horny emoji copy pasta, has come in favor of Zohran Mamdani. New York's next mayor has officially arrived. Attention, NYC hotties. It's time to get that sexy ass to the polls and rank Zohran Mamdani as your #1 choice for NYC mayor. Early voting starts today, and we have until June 24th to elect this zaddy to command our city. He's ready to lay down the law with socialist policies like freezing the rent, making buses fast, free money, and enacting universal childcare. Let me say that the worst people are panicking big time. From Bill Ackman and other billionaire centrists, establishment Dems to the right, where it's funny to like see Fox News spend so much time talking about like NYC falling to ruin, and it's like, I thought y'all have been saying this because New York is a blue state, it's a blue city, so like why do you guys care so much?
It's great to see you. I don't know if you've slept, and I'm sure you are still processing what happened last night. A lot of people on our team.
You guys, I fell for fake news yesterday that I do have to own up to, and I sent it to Will, and then immediately I was like, okay, this is fake news. I saw people sharing what I thought was Zohran's top 10 films of the 21st century, and I was like, oh my God, this man just continues to be so based. But it turns out that it was actually someone else's list that people had just been passing around pretending that it was Zohran's film list. And I sent it to Will, and I was like, could he get any more based? And then 5 seconds later I realized that I fell for it, and I was like, never mind, don't forget I said anything.
This volunteer team that we've built of now more than 50,000 people, they are the New Yorkers for whom democracy had started to lose meaning. It started to lose its relevance to the struggles of everyday New Yorkers. And they are the ones who for so long had not seen themselves in our local politics. And yet they are also the ones who brought us to this point, who knocked on more than 1.5 million doors across the 5 boroughs and showcased that a vision for a New York City, currently the most expensive city in the United States, a vision that would make it affordable, is one that speaks not only to progressives, but speaks to New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, from Harlem to Bay Ridge, and speaks to the very fact that ultimately what city government's job is to make this city that much easier to live in and actually achieve the very dreams that brought you here in the first place.
You know what? He is evidence that not all speech and debate kids suck, okay? Sometimes speech and debate kids use those skills for good. Let me just give a couple thoughts too. And Taylor Lorenz wrote a piece about this that encapsulates my thoughts on this as well. But like, Zohran won on Tuesday because of a combination of factors. As you can tell, he is masterful with language. He's so good. Okay, he's so good at speaking. He also is deeply principled. He is consistently on message. He has like just a really great energy to him. I mean, this is talent. When people like AOC and Zohran Mamdani come along, I think it shows you what political talent looks like. And it's not to say that like there are not progressives who are not political talents as well. Barack Obama. What progressives need to recognize in this moment is that it's not just important to run somebody who has great politics. It's important to run people who have the energy, who have the charisma, who are on point, who know how to communicate these ideals.
You're running on issues that are very relevant to people in New York City, the cost of housing, free busing. Some have projected, that this is the type of platform that would work in other parts of the country. I mean, you're a proud democratic socialist. Do you think that is a platform that would work for other candidates running in other parts of the country?
Absolutely. I think ultimately this is a campaign about inequality. And you don't have to live in the most expensive city in the country to have experienced that inequality, because it's a national issue. And what Americans coast to coast are looking for are people who will fight for them, not just believe in the things that resonate with their lives, but actually fight and deliver on those very things.
How many kids have been killed today? How many kids have been killed today? Israel bombs, USA pays! Israel bombs, USA pays! How many kids have been killed today? How many kids have been killed today?
This is downtown Los Angeles, and this is an anti-war protest. This is no to war in Iran, no to war in Los Angeles, of course, stopping the genocide in Palestine. I'll show you the signs.
Free the people, free the land. No peace or stolen land.
You know, people like to talk about what they would have done during the Vietnam War protests, what they would have done during the Civil Rights Movement, what they would have done during Nazi Germany. Well, guess what? Your time is now. Your time is now to do those things. To advocate for civil liberties, to be against war, against genocide. This is your time to do the things that you said you would have done had you been alive in those eras. This is the same fight. It hasn't ended. My body is not in protest shape. Hot girl summer, hot protest girl summer. I've heard solidarity summer gets you abs. It's true. It's true.
Protect the interests of the ruling class, which is all part of a global economic system designated to exploit our resources and labor. So we must correctly identify our enemy. What do we do? When Palestine is under attack, what do we do? What do we do? Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
fact that the United States has officially bombed Iran, I mean, let's be real, we were already at war because we are Israel and Israel is us, as we have made very clear. So the fact that Israel was bombing Iran, of course, with the weapons and with the support of the United States meant we already were at war. It's just that now we are directly bombing them. But solidarity is the thing that will get you through the dark days. Looking around and seeing the diversity of ages, of ethnicities, of religions. I mean, you had old people there, and not me included. You had old people, you had young people, there were children, which is sad too, that children, I mean, it's, you know, the kids are out there, like, the kids are civilians of today. But you have these kids who are aware of what is happening, who know what ICE is, who know what genocide is. And just the diversity of these movements. Community and action will save us. Yeah. Look, it's easy to feel that dark cloud. It's easy to get consumed by it. I get it. You know, you go on the internet, or if you're paying attention, even if you're half paying attention, it seems like everything is bad. But guess what? Not everything is bad. Mahmoud Khalil, he's free. He gets to hold his baby. He gets to see his wife. He shouldn't have been imprisoned. He shouldn't have been kidnapped and unlawfully, imprisoned. But he's free, and that happened because people united and we're in the streets. We're involved in freeing him. We made a lot of noise, and there are others still, who have not yet been freed. Others who are being kidnapped as we speak. But these are wins. This is news that you got to hold on to and see only happens when we all unite in protesting these inhumane, evil acts of terror. That's what they are.
These are the celebs who are attending Jeff Bezos' Venice wedding that we are aware of. So when we talk about how it's a big club and you ain't in it, I ain't in it, we ain't in it. Oprah's at Jeff B's wedding. The Kardashians are at Jeffy B's wedding, my boss's wedding. Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. All these folks, they are in the same club. They are all on the same team. Jeffy B and Lauren Sanchez's wedding is happening in Venice despite the protests of people who live in Venice. And it is a star-studded guest list. You've got Tom Brady, former NFL quarterback Tom Brady, Kim Kardashian, as mentioned, as well as Khloe Kardashian, Orlando Bloom, recently having announced that he and Katy Perry are splitting up. So you got Mick Jagger, you got Leonardo DiCaprio, you got Bill Gates, Diane von Furstenberg and her husband, Ivanka Trump, her husband Jared Kushner, and their 3 children. The wedding has divided Venice, with some activists protesting it as an exploitation of the city by the billionaire Bezos, while ordinary residents suffer from over-tourism, high housing costs, and the constant threat of climate-induced flooding. One group called Extinction Rebellion staged a small protest in St. Mark's Square on Thursday, featuring a masked bride and groom and people holding posters decrying climate change and income inequalities. The planet is burning, but don't worry. Here's the list of 27 dresses of Lauren Sanchez, read one, a reference to the bride's reported wedding weekend wardrobe. Protesters said that their plans to disrupt the arrivals of guests at one of the wedding venues forced organizers to move the event to the more secure Arsenal area beyond Venice's congested center. The city administration has strongly defended the nuptials as keeping with Venice's tradition as an open city that has welcomed popes, emperors, and ordinary visitors alike for centuries. They're like, hey, we've had popes here, so we can have Jeff Bezos' wedding. We will always respect the right to speak out, but we reject every form of intolerance and prejudice. Mayor Luigi Brugnaro said in Thursday's edition of Italian newspaper Il Foglio Quotidiano, no one in Venice can claim the right of deciding who can enter, who can love, and who can celebrate. That is not a good Luigi. We like this Luigi not very much. every time we see stuff like this, it's just a reminder that a billionaire is a billionaire, right? It doesn't matter if they are on the side of Republicans, on the side of Democrats, a billionaire is still a billionaire. And you might go, well, hold on, it's not there, okay, well, Oprah being at the same wedding as the Kushners, she can't control who's invited. Remember whose wedding this is. This is Jeff Bezos' wedding. Jeff Bezos, who supported Donald Trump. All these people who are going to Jeff Bezos' wedding, they're on the same side. They are capitalists. They are billionaires. That is the group that always has class consciousness. Yes, they will always have class consciousness. 28 years later. Raise your hand if you've seen it. No spoilers. No. None. Do I need to see the other movies? Honestly, no. What I really loved about 28 Years Later is that rather than try and do the thing where it adheres to the franchise, it really just is its own thing. Like, you cannot predict what this movie is going to be, even if you've seen the trailer. I watched the trailer and I was like very surprised by the direction that the film went in. Now, you don't have to see the previous two films, but I would highly recommend watching the first one because it's so fucking good. It will also help you understand just the style of Danny Boyle. And I'm really confused because I feel like I don't understand what people want in a movie. I saw a lot of people who complained about the tonal shifts, and I'm like, okay, well, that is Danny Boyle. And if you watch 28 Days Later, the way that it's shot, the various tones in that film is not different from 28 Years Later. So maybe it was people who just need to rewatch 28 Days. Okay, more thoughts on the film. Let's talk about the performances. The standouts to me were Jodie Comer and then Ralph Fiennes. I want to give a shout out to Alfie Williams, who plays the young kid at the center of the film. I thought he was great. He really did a good job at juggling all of the requirements for his character. So he's 12 years old, and on the one hand, he is experienced beyond his years, but then is also inexperienced. Like, he has a naivete. I thought he did a really great job at that, and I thought he had the funniest line of the film. The first and second halves of the movie are quite different. The first half feels more like 28 Days Later, and I thought, okay, was seeing how this could be the direction that the film was going in. And then we get to the second half and it's totally different and it's very surprising, but I really loved it because I really loved the sincerity of it, and I really liked the theme. I felt in the first half there was something very interesting introduced around religious extremism, in the same way that like militarism, that themes around the military and around the violence and rage of humans who are not infected by rage, how that materializes in very dystopic conditions. I thought, oh, okay, I kind of see what's starting to emerge here. Now, that was not something that Boyle went further with, so I'm curious if that is going to play a part in the second 28 Years Later, Bone Temple. There are quite a few things that are introduced in 28 years. I totally forgot about that this was going to be a two-parter, right? That these films were shot back to back. Once the film ended as it did, I went, oh, right. Okay. That's why it feels like there's still more of the story to tell. Boyle is very committed to his vision, and he never lets up on that. And because his performers were very much so along for the ride, I was there as well. I was along for the ride as well. And I think Ralph Fiennes, who features heavily in the second half, he's such a good part of the film. He's one of my favorite characters across the three films that I have seen now. That he and Jodie really anchored the second half for me. I also really fucking love the ending. I'm not going to say no spoilers, but the ending, I was like laughing, and all I will say is I saw a tweet that said a compatibility quiz should be, what did you think of the ending of 28 Years Later? Will and I both loved it, so luckily we can continue to remain in a relationship, but I think that's a way to figure out if you are compatible with somebody, is to say, what did you think of the ending of 28 Years Later?